Happy birthday, Sherlock Holmes. Hi, I'm Lucille Lovisi, and I'm back with more of my silliness. I wanted to remind everybody, or I don't know, let you know that if you're in the New York area tomorrow, there's a merchant room at the Baker Street Regulars birthday celebration for Sherlock Holmes at the Grand Central Westin in New York City, and we'll be there. And I want to show you some of the junk journals that I made that I'm going to have on sale. Want to come down to look at the junk journals?
Yes.
So I have, in previous videos, I showed you journals that I did for the Spider and the Shadow and Doc Savage and etc. And this time I did them for in honor of Sherlock Holmes. We have Mrs. Hudson, we have Dr. Watson, and of course we have Sherlock Holmes's own. So let me just show you quickly what's inside of these. And I'll have these for sale. I only did about 6 of each one. So let's open it up. Now, you know, junk journal is basically, it's just a journal, but I'm designing these to give the effect as if it belongs to Mrs. Hudson. So let's open it up and see what she has inside. So she's got a lot of flippy things going on here. So she has, what would Mrs. Hudson have in her little wallet here? She's got a little advertisement for a skirt. She's got a gift tag here for Mrs. Hudson, and it says, "Sorry for the bullet holes," from Sherlock Holmes. So I guess he gave her something, a gift, maybe flowers, and she kept his thank you.
When he shot the bullet holes into the wall of his room, which she was renting from her.
Okay, so let's open it up. We have some more. This is a little bookmark here. She's got a to-do list, and this is to find someone to repair her plaster walls. She's got to ask which soap flakes are best to clean blood from rugs, and she's going to buy some tea and curry. Holmes is noted to like her curry. Okay, so we open it up again, and here we have a beautiful picture of Mrs. Hudson and Mr. Hudson. It's rumored that her name is, or it's innuendo that her name is Martha, and her husband was, I guess, supposedly Frank. And here's a little letter in here, and this letter is from Sherlock Holmes, and it pertains to the story, The Empty House, in which we know Sherlock Holmes was killed at Rickenback, and then he's brought back. The way he's comes back is a surprise and a shock to everyone, and she helps him. Asks Mrs. Hudson, he puts the wax bust in the window, and he asks her to turn the bust every half hour in order to make it seem more realistic, make it
look like he's there, and so
right.
Colonel Sebastian Moran, who's going to assassinate him, thinks that
he does,
he's
right?
in
He
the
shoots
apartment.
him, shoots that bust.
Yep.
Okay, we flip it up. She's got, this is an actual tobacco card, and this is also an 1800s article for the Royal Theatre.
So some of the
ephemera is actually real ephemera
from 100 years ago.
And this is also from Goody's ladies book on embroidery and stuff. And this is the journaling part. So you would, this is where you can do your journaling. And there's just a couple of notes in here from her. She says, remember to serve Phelps the naval treaty at breakfast, which is a reference to another story in which she helps Sherlock Holmes. And then in the center here, it says, there's a recipe, and she says Sherlock liked this at breakfast. So that's Mrs. Hudson's little junk journal here. Next we have Dr. John Watson's. And let's see what he has inside his book. So we open it up, and his journal actually comes out. So it's more like a notepad, and it flips. So that's where you can journal. There's an actual tobacco card here, and this is a military one. And then this is a bookmark, but it's made to look like a blotter because when you used ink you needed to blot the tip so it didn't leave blobs of ink all over. So these were very common in the day. You would just wipe them. They were oftentimes advertising pieces, and you can still see them today. People collect them. Now in here we have a bunch of stuff. Let's take it out and see what we have in here. So here he has a business card.
Ooh.
His doctor's business card. He was a general practitioner. These are also authentic newspaper articles. They're pertaining to, this one is for, it's the races, and this one is, there's some things about doctor-related advertisements and such. He also has a business card for Sherlock Holmes in here. This is a receipt for a Pullman company for some bags for a trip he had taken. And then here we have a letter from Wardlock and Company, referring to A Study in Scarlet. This would have been his first published story. And we have a check.
Of Sherlock Holmes.
He was paid Sherlock. And actually, Doyle, wrote the stories.
Well, that's what they say.
Oh, they say, but no.
But we really know
And in
Watson.
reality, Doyle got 25 pounds for this story, and he sold away all the rights and everything to the story for this 25-pound check. I don't think he realized at the time what it was going to become. And this is actually what the first story looked like in the Beaton's Christmas Annual. So we have all that inside. So this is in Watson's journal. And now we go to the back, and he has another little folder here. And this is just it's a little folder of his personal stuff. This is a certificate of his discharge. He was a military man, and he was honorably discharged. And this is my pop-up map of Afghanistan and the British and some of the movements from the military.
Where he was fighting.
Mm-hmm. He was
He
injured.
was a doctor of the medical corps.
And he had that limp. But I don't know, he got shot in the shoulder, I thought, but he had a limp, so I don't
The bullet
understand.
moved around. It's a mysterious bullet.
And finally, Sherlock Holmes. Woohoo! This is Sherlock Holmes' journal. It's chocked full because we all know he did a lot of experiments. He's got a lot of stuff, this guy. So let's open it up and see what he has coming on over here. Okay, again, we see his business card. He would have it and gave him one to Watson. He's got various advertisements, and these are law court proceedings and different things. He was known to also cut out things from the papers and keep them. So this would be one that he held on to. Let's go through it. Okay, so here is a study of fingerprint patterns. And he has, and actually he's got some examples of fingerprints that he could have been working on to practice. So we keep going. There's different quotes throughout the book. This is a packet of poison from one of the stories. He's worked with different plant poisons from West Africa. There's a fold-out map, different sentiments.
What a job. You did some work on this.
So all these, this is really for you to continue the story and write your own.
But there's all little interesting little things in here that pertain to the stories and to the characters that's interesting.
This is actually, again, it's something that Doyle got, and it was sent to him by William Gillette, who was the actor who portrayed Sherlock Holmes famously on stage. A lot of people who saw him perform say he was the greatest Sherlock Holmes that there was. And in 1901, he sent, this was from the Lyceum Theater, and he sent a Christmas card to Doyle. So I had it, tried to reproduce it a little smaller than it was, and I had him send it to Sherlock Holmes. And so what Gillette wrote, it said, "Did you ever imagine that Sherlock would be sending his compliments to his maker? Good wishes always, dear Holmes." Gillette, he wrote Dear Doyle. That's the only thing I changed was the name. So that's pretty cool. There's a lot of letters that Gillette wrote to Doyle that I saw. He must have been, you know, a fan.
Yeah.
Okay, and so this is also from one of the stories. It's just a partial letter, a note that Holmes has, and this is Watson's business card. So he would have kept that. I'm still working on one thing. If I get it done by tomorrow, I'll have it, the Dancing Men. I'm trying to do that, but I have to do 6 copies of everything. It's a pain in the neck.
Well, there's only 6 or 5 copies of these entire.
There's 6, yeah, of each one. This is also a blotter bookmark, and this is all about his poisons, belladonna and opium. This is a specimen card for a butterfly, some information on butterflies, and that's something he might have had in his. Let's see, what is this? I'll open this up. Okay, and this is a reproduction of the note from the Hound of the Baskervilles. And it says, as you value your life or your reason, keep away from the more. And it was cut up newspaper, and then the only word that was written in ink was more, according to the stories.
He couldn't get that out of the newspaper. I guess
that's not right. He found it was from the newspaper, right? This is a note about Dr. Watson marries Mary Morstan, and her father was a colonel, Arthur Morstan, and he was missing. He went missing, and she went to Sherlock Holmes for help, and that's how she met John Watson, and that's how they married. Okay, this is an actual tobacco card on fortune telling that Holmes might have had, and some various, just again, more newspaper, police dispatches and things. And then on the back, he has a file too. In his file, he has some top secret stuff. And his pop out is about blood stains and blood spatter. He made some early observations about blood staining, and so he has them here. And then he has a couple of cards on 2 of his nemesises, Sebastian Moran and James Moriarty. It says Sebastian Moran was, he called, the 2nd most dangerous man in London. So I'm guessing Moriarty is the first, and he's been called the Napoleon of crime.
Yes. Professor
Moriarty. So that's it. These are my junk journals in honor of Sherlock Holmes. I hope we see you tomorrow. We'll have the information in the description. If you're not there this weekend, just keep it in mind, because every year around, what is it, January 6th is his birthday?
Yeah.
Every year they do this, and every year there's a merchant room, which is really cool. It's a free show. It's only a couple of hours. I think it's like from 9 to noon.
Yeah.
So it's good. There's a lot of interesting people. You can come, you can talk, you can look. You don't have to buy anything. And we would love to see everybody. And I hope you enjoyed looking at my silly journals. And you'll see Gary next time. Pretty soon, actually. I think he's got a book haul to do.
Uh-oh.
But anyway, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye.